First of all, we have the option to update the default. This is if you have Pro enabled. So let's say you don't like the default click sound and you want to change it. You can tap on here, choose change sounds. If nothing is entered, the default sound used is that associated with the H letter. But we can just enter a sound. So let's say we want a shaker. Enter that, click done. You'll see that the exclamation mark is flashing. That means that there are changes. If we tap it, we have a new option to update default. Now as a test, every time we load default, it will load with the shaker sound. There's now the option to change the note value that the tempo is associated with. You can see here that quarter note is set to 120 BPM. If we want to change that, tap on it, tap on the note in here, let's choose a half note and hit done, and now this is half note equals 120. The nudge buttons in Metronome allow you to tweak the tempo. You can push and hold one of these to change the amount which it increments or decrements. A new option is standard, which uses standard analog tempo markings. So this is between 4 and 8 BPM depending on the tempo. Another new feature in 2.1.4 is the ability to bypass this menu. Here we have change rhythm, change accents, and change sounds. If you want to jump straight to one of those pages, you can long press on the area. So to change the rhythm, long press on the notes. To change the sounds, long press underneath the notes. And to change the accents, long press above the notes. On the rhythm entry page, you'll see that there's now a common rhythms page at the beginning. In fact, there are 3 pages of common rhythms. These are designed to allow you to enter the most common rhythms very quickly. If we clear all, you'll see we have quarter notes, eighth notes, individual eighth notes, triplets, 16th notes. We also have a dotted quarter note rest. On page 2, we have a dotted eighth note and a dotted eighth note rest, as well as subdivisions of 16th note. On page 3, we have some common 16th note permutations. These save you the trouble of adding the values to get these rhythms, so you can quickly create the rhythms that you want. Of course, you still have all of the divisions of whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, and eighth notes available. Loading presets is quicker in this version. Just tap it to load it. Metronome will warn you if you have unsaved changes. If you want to save your changes, you can cancel and go back and save the changes. Or if you don't want to save changes, you can just choose to load anyway. The minute that you click a preset, it's loaded. If you want to action the preset, you can click on the Actions menu, choose the action that you want to perform. There are new options in playlist controls for tempo boundaries. So if we are looping the playlist and we have a tempo change set, you can increase or decrease the tempo by a set BPM or percentage. And then you can turn on tempo boundaries to perform an action when it reaches one of those boundaries. So let's say we are checking the BPM. We can set a minimum of, for example, 100 BPM and a maximum of 150 BPM. And we can say when we reach one of those boundaries, Metronome should either stop, reset, which means it will jump back to the initial tempo, reverse, which means that if it was increasing, it will decrease, and vice versa, or hold, in which case it will remain at that tempo boundary. These are very useful for setting up practice routines. When you save changes to a preset, it will ask you if you want to update the parent preset, if that exists. It will also ask you if you want to update versions of that preset if they exist in other playlists. In the menu, you'll now find a backup option, which allows you to back up presets, playlists, or your practice log. You can airdrop these from one device to another, or you can email them or send them via iMessage, or if you have Google Drive installed or other applications that allow you to upload files, you'll be able to save them to those apps. The new Cumulative Timer option at the bottom of the practice editor, if you don't see the practice editor, click the arrows to reveal it. Tapping it lets you choose what's going. Tapping the clock icon lets you choose what is shown here. You can either view the cumulative practice log today, the practice log since you last hit the Reset Now button, or the time since you last hit the Reset Now button. You can also jump to view the practice log from here. So that's what's new in Metronome 2.1.4 and 2.1.5.